You're listening to The World at 8 with Lynn Mozart. The World at 8, the number one in nationalist news.
These are the headlines of the news today, Wednesday the 15th of February. 2 Salford residents on trial for abuse of 10-year-old disabled child. Another illegal immigrant sentenced for rape. Border agency to name and shame employers. Officials from the EU have cancelled meeting over Greece. Left-wing actor Sean Penn slates Britain over the Falklands. And thought for the day. UK news. Salford residents named as Ilyas Ashar and his wife Talat Ashar are on trial for rape and abuse of a 10-year-old deaf and dumb girl who they kept in their cellar in their semi-detached house. The child was an orphan and both of the accused claimed her benefits, while making her a slave in their home and keeping her locked in a cellar where she slept on the concrete floor with no toilet. Ilyas is accused of 12 counts of rape on the child, while his wife is being accused with 1 count of sexual assault and unlawful wounding of a child. Their eldest daughter, aged 24, is also on charge for benefit fraud. The pair are also on trial for human trafficking. A British National Party spokesperson commented, "I suppose this makes them eligible for Article 8 should we wish to deport them. They do have a family life, revolting though it is to decent people." An illegal immigrant has been sentenced to 8 years for raping a white British woman in Leigh. The victim, who is a 26-year-old mother, was coming home from her 26th birthday night out when she was jumped by Majid Mulaga in a narrow side street in Leigh town centre. The Muslim had been waiting about half an hour around the town centre before he attacked her. The details of the horrific and violent rape are known, but will not be reported by the World at 8. She said she thought she was going to die during the attack. Liverpool Crown Court was the scene of the trial. Once again, Liverpool has been chosen as a safe haven for rapists of women and even children as young as 10 by Muslims living in Britain over the last week. They are, of course, ably supported by the paedophile-loving Unite Against Fascism. One Liverpool resident commented, "Where is Unite Against Rapists?" The judge ordered that the rapist will be deported after his prison sentence has ended, at the taxpayers' expense again if this deportation ever gets off the ground. The border agency in Britain has said that it will be naming and shaming all businesses in Britain that have been secretly employing foreign illegal workers who come into Britain. This has come to light due to the fact that media coverage, especially the World at 8, has been publishing all British illegal immigrant issues in their news programmes. The naming and shaming will not deter ignorant foreign businessmen who don't give a damn about British people's rights, yet it is one step closer to the indigenous British public being aware of who to put in Parliament the next time around. One restaurant owner from Epsom spoke out, "Businesses will suffer if you take migrants away." This selfish and anti-British comment was given by a man who has been given an MBE by our Queen. Euro news. President of France, Nicolas Sarkozy, is hoping that the French people will vote him into office again in the next election. The French president has put all his eggs in one basket by hoping that the debt crisis will be his key point in getting a second term as president. Officials from the EU are calling off their meeting over bankrupt Greece. The meeting was to discuss a second bailout by the International Monetary Fund. The main body of the Eurozone countries has shrunk the level of the meeting. Greece has seen burning of buildings and destruction of property this week in its public anger over austerity measures. World news. Shelling and mortar attacks continue around the Syrian city of Homs, with no let-up by the Syrian government against its opposition forces. Reports from the residents of Homs say that life is getting unbearable. The left-wing actor Sean Penn has met the Argentinian Prime Minister and made a statement to Britain saying, "Give the Falklands back to Argentina." The American left-winger, who it is said from various sources on the internet allegedly beat up his wife Madonna with a baseball bat in a 9-hour attack on her in 1987, has been criticising Britain, saying that he stands by the South Americans. One BNP spokesperson commented, "We will have to tell the Royal Navy to watch out for him and his baseball bat if conflicts start again in the Falkland Islands." Thought for the day. I hate to say I told you so to the civilised world in total, but here goes. I told you so. All the stable, but according to us, undemocratic governments and dictators in the Middle East have gone, save Syria, which is still trying to fight its own battles, albeit aided, prodded and sold out, not necessarily by their own people, but by NATO and UN intervention. We in the West have backed these protesters and rebels and in some cases actually provided extra air backup in the case of Libya. We have sold them weapons and carried on a more than effective media propaganda machine during the whole process. What have we done? Well, as I foretold, Iraq is a total mess, fractionalised by Sunnis and Shiites. I do not apologise for this pronunciation, but it reads like Shiite, not Shia, as Niger is not Niger. Egypt is grumbling again, and now Libya is on the verge of yet another internal war, because what we have done is put Muslim fanatics in the place of what was there. And nothing is worse for any country than a fanatic of any sort or creed. We have effectively, through Western interference, made these countries more unstable than ever and, apart from anything else, increased the need for their population to leave for soft-touch Britain, usually via the countries that sold them arms in the first place, namely France amongst a few. When will we learn to keep our noses out of what is after all their own business? If their population kill other members of their population, who cares? The Western powers do not care how many civilians are killed in Uganda or South Africa. Why? Because they are white. So no media attention or arms or soldiers to help them. I say keep out of the Middle East and leave them to their own destructive devices, which should be easy now they are so democratised, shouldn't it? And finally, British scientists have discovered that an ornament that was placed outside a stately home for more than 80 years was from outer space. The meteorite, weighing over 200 pounds, is the largest to ever land in Britain. One historian and scientist went on to say that it landed and froze 30,000 years ago, around the time of the Ice Age. One thing is for sure, the first people to find it were the indigenous British people, and apparently the Druids used it as a chalk mound around 20,000 years ago. Now how's that for primitive recycling? You have been listening to The World at 8. I am Lynn Mozar, and I wish you all a very good night.